My wife, 38F, is convinced that she is pregnant even though that every pregnancy test, store-bought and medical, comes back negative. It's taking a toll on our Mariusz because she thinks I am going to abandon her and our twins. This is all over the place. I really need help. My wife and I, M42, have been married for 2 years together for 15. All this time we had either not decided to have kids or had problems getting pregnant. After some medical testing we found out that it was near impossible to get pregnant due to some medical issues with her. We were thinking of adopting when one day she came home and told me she was expecting. Of course I was super happy. A week later we had an appointment at the gyno and she had some blood drawn. The test came back negative and of course I was devastated, but she wasn't. She claimed that she was pregnant and that the doctor was wrong. We took some more store-bought ones and they all came back negative. My wife is in complete denial. Now she claims we are having twins. She is buying them clothes and decorations and is pressuring me to start with the nursery. I am at a loss and don't know what to do. My inaction is making her believe that I want to leave them and that I am going to doom my wife into the life of a single mom. What the F is even happening? I love her but I don't know what to do. Edit. Forgot to add. I have tried talking her into therapy but she accuses me of gaslighting her. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Call the doctor who did the pregnancy tests and leave a message with the emergency number. They will be able to tell you who to contact. She's obviously had some sort of mental break. Just an FYI, at 19 weeks you would have had ultrasound pictures and gender determination and she would have had several OBGYN visits. Is she doing practical things like taking prenatal vitamins and reading books, or is it all delusional and talk? Just wondering how far she is taking this scenario? Ops response. Also, she isn't showing at all. She is thin as always. Yes, she says that she can't lift heavy things, says she has pregnancy cravings, she buys clothes for the twins, she is even planning to take paid time off from work for when the babies are here. Commenter response. This is really frightening. Like those stories of people taking babies from a pregnant woman. You need to get her help ASAP. Was she all of a sudden 19 weeks, or has this been going on a while? What spurred her into thinking she was initially pregnant? Have you seen her have her period in this time so you can point out the obvious? Ops response. She claimed she was pregnant about a few weeks ago. But as of Friday she says she entered her 19th week. I really don't know what brought her to think that. Commenter's response. She jumped to 19 weeks because she thinks the false negatives are due to the hook effect, which is a real thing where one of two things happens. 1. The HCG, pregnancy hormone that is detected in pregnancy tests, levels rise rapidly during your first few weeks of pregnancy, then drop off, then slowly rise again until birth. Sometimes if you test in the drop-off phase you get a false negative because the HCG levels are too low. Most tests expect you to test within the first months of pregnancy, or 2. The HCG levels are so high that they don't form the molecule structures that the tests are looking for. There is also a theory that having twins can cause false negatives due to this secondary effect. I guarantee you she's reading all this stuff online and it's growing wild in her brain. I know this because this happened to me on a less severe scale when I was 18. I woke up one morning feeling sick out of nowhere and my period was late, so I was convinced I was pregnant. I was on the pill but I figured it had failed. And I panicked because I absolutely did not want that, especially with the person I was with at the time. Tests I bought were negative but I figured I was just testing too early. Then I got my period but it was shorter than normal. More tests were still negative. Months went by and I still felt nauseous in the mornings, got acid reflux, bad bloating and weird periods. Sometimes I had barely anything, other times it was spotting that lasted 2 months. I didn't tell anyone I thought I was pregnant, but I just assumed it was inevitable and that eventually we would find out for sure. I went to the doctor about the spotting and he just prescribed me higher estrogen pills. After a week on them, I felt several times worse. I had broken up with my boyfriend by then, so I just stopped taking them until I could go back on the others, and I very quickly felt much better. This was 7 months into my pregnancy. To this day, I think it was a combination of the hormone pills that didn't work with me and severe stress. I spent way too much time learning about this online, but I didn't make myself part of this messed up, cryptic pregnancy community because I didn't want to be pregnant. 11 years later, looking back, I should have gotten psychological help to process everything and recognize what was real and what wasn't. She needs help whether it's voluntary or not. This will not get better on its own. Commenter 2, yeah, I understand OP's wife better than most. I think that I was the same as you. I had an anxious obsession with pregnancy, essentially a phobia, for a while, and I was exactly like OP's wife. Convinced I was experiencing the hook effect, that you could be pregnant after a period, that a negative blood test can be false, that you can have a negative ultrasound. I constantly found symptoms in everything, even sneezing. I knew I was having anxious delusions, but that didn't stop me from buying a pregnancy test every chance I got for the 10 minutes of relief it gave me. I read it all on mommy forums. Spent all day every day Googling, is a stomach ache a sign of pregnancy? 10 weeks negative tests. If I had never gone on them, I think it would never have escalated to that level. I feel horrible for OP's wife. I can't imagine going through that. Happy that you're finally pregnant. He needs to get her help. Commenter 3, this is exactly it. A phobia. To this day, the idea of pregnancy just weirds me right out. I want absolutely no part of it. The one good thing to come of it is, with all the internet reading, I did come across actual medical information and I understand the mechanics, for lack of a better word, of each different phase of pregnancy better than the average bear, so I've been able to comfort my friends when they've had other scares. Luckily, anything I came across regarding cryptic pregnancies seemed really hokey, even though they are meant to look very professional. These forums and sites say the average cryptic pregnancy lasts 3 to 5 years but can last up to 9 years. They say if nothing is detected in an ultrasound, it's because either you have a tilted uterus or the doctors aren't looking for a baby because they don't believe you. They say that some actual pregnancies where a baby was actually born was really a cryptic pregnancy that had lasted years, but doctors only think it lasts 9 months, so that's what they tell you. They even say you will feel ghost contractions for years. It's all super scary echo chamber nonsense that feeds right into the anxieties and gives you answers for what is happening with you and encourages a mistrust for actual doctors. Little update/edit. Thank you guys, you really helped me out. Yesterday was a bad day and you helped me get clarity. I've had a chat with our doctor who will now be handling this with us. I would like to thank most of you with useful advice, and hopefully I will be able to update good news someday. But a fuck you to those that said I should divorce her because she is crazy, and an extra fuck you to the guy that used this post to push his anti-abortion agenda. It has not been that long, but I need again advice from you guys about the same topic. I called up our primary doctor and told him about the problem. He seemed very concerned and wanted us to come see him the next morning. He said it was important to be gentle but not feed into her delusions. I sat her down and we talked. All she wanted to talk about is when I would get the nursery started and that we were on a time crunch, and how she has found a perfect color for the room, how she wants me to be more involved in her pregnancy. I tried to be very calm, but I was very perturbed by seeing her that way. I asked her to go to the doctor with me tomorrow. She said yes, that she wanted to check on the babies either ways. Now I took some advice and words you gave me about being calm and asking a bit why she thinks she is pregnant without calling her delusional. So I did. She kept changing subjects or saying that a mother just feels it. You wouldn't know how it is. Then I said that I loved her really much, that I would never think of leaving her, but we needed to go to the doctor to confirm her gut feeling. She got very agitated and was crying, telling me that if I wanted to leave her I should simply leave, but I shouldn't call her a liar. Somehow I managed to calm her down enough for her to go to sleep. After she did, I went on her computer. I do never snoop on her. But I remembered a commenter pointing out forums about cryptic pregnancy, and so I went for the lookout. Oh boy. She was in 2 Facebook groups. One was a normal mommy Facebook group, and the other was a group about women that believed they were pregnant. In the normal group, she would post updates about her symptoms and pictures of her belly, and her story about how she was almost not able to have children, but that's to the grace of God that kissed her tummy, the gift of life was given to her, and how she was compensated for all this years of suffering with twins. In the other group, the women were quite literally, and excuse me here, fucking insane. They were feeding in each other's delusions. A woman said that she was almost 2 years pregnant and how sometimes it just takes longer. My wife would post there complaining about doctors that do not take her seriously and about me. So many women were making her fear that I would leave. saying things like men cannot stick to a woman. Many recounted their stories about how their marriages broke down because their spouses could not handle the pregnancy. I was really fucking scared. I researched phantom pregnancies and I read somewhere that that could also be a sign of schizophrenia. So to say the least, I could not sleep. I was and am still very afraid of losing her. She woke up and I tried to act like nothing was wrong. We were going to the doctor, and it was as if nothing had happened yesterday. She was convinced that we were going to a pregnancy checkup. Things got really bad when we began talking to the doctor. He was really tactful when talking to my wife. He tried to explain her that it was medically impossible that she was pregnant. We tried to show her tests, the ultrasound we did the day before, but nothing. She got more agitated and began to cry and scream at me for making her look like a crazy person. She began bouncing back and forth and holding her head with both hands. We could not calm her. She went in on a full-on panic attack. She could not breathe. The doctor laid her down and tried giving her some medicine for her to relax, but it did not help as he didn't have the necessary tools to treat a panic attack that was that bad. She had to go to the hospital where they took care of her. Did an EKG to exclude that she was suffering a heart attack. At that point, I really had no other option than to inquire about involuntary commit. So I could not do it myself. I needed my doctor's statement that she was a danger to herself and others, and he had to initiate the process of an involuntary examination of 72 hours. After that, we will have to submit a written statement to the court to determine whether or not she can stay there against her will. So far I have submitted all her posts in both Facebook groups as well as the test we did with timestamps when possible. My wife is 2 days in the 3 days examination and I have no contact to her. When I last her, she was furious with me. She said I was taking away her freedom, which I am. I felt horrible, dirty and useless. She is so mad at me. I feel like I am abandoning her and don't know how she will ever forgive me this. I love her with all my heart. I am afraid of what will happen if the courts decide that I can't commit her, how our life will be affected. I feel like I failed to protect her. At this point I am just rambling. Sorry for the long post. I guess I just need to vent because I have no one else to really turn to that just wants to listen. I feel judged by everyone and pitied. I just hate it. Sorry for spelling mistakes. Edit. I will not fucking leave my wife, you unempathetic dickheads. When I gave my vows, I meant trough illness and bad times. I'm not only on the ride for the good times. If you truly love someone, you will do whatever it takes to see them healthy again. Would you leave your spouse if they went trough a severe physical illness? I'm here to stay. I will not divorce her. She is not a fucking psycho, she is sick. I hope no one of your loved ones ever has to go trough this because their support net will consist of cowardly dickheads. Sorry for the rant. But if you want to say something line divorce, that nut, don't even bother. I understand people that make the choice to leave if the situation when it begins to mess with their mental health, and I respect that, but I won't do that. Edit 2. My wife didn't have a heart attack. She was examined because panic attacks register with similar symptoms as heart attacks. I don't exactly know what our doctor gave her as I was so distraught. But I was not a sedative. I think it was something along the lines of Valium or Baldrian. Over-the-counter stuff mostly. She has family. She is estranged from most of them. Her sister is now at our place to help. Also refrain from such stupid comments like, I'll bet she will leave bro. She is cray, how did you marry her? Because they are not helpful at all. Especially the bets that are going on that my wife will leave me once she gets better. Just seems like you want me to divorce. Get a life. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I used to work in the involuntary commitment system. Everyone is upset with their loved ones when they get committed. Everyone. And it's a normal thing for family members and partners to feel a ton of guilt. But your wife needs help. You took the steps to get her that help even though it was scary. You will not regret this. Commenter 2. I had to involuntarily commit my husband. He has PTSD and I got a phone call at work 40 minutes away in a different county that he loved me and that I shouldn't feel bad. I had to call 911 bawling my eyes out knowing he was having a bad week and then call the emergency line for the county he was in. They connect you to the nearest one. When the police broke the door down, he was in the bathroom. He hit the razor before he came out. He was so mad at me. He hated me. He wanted a divorce. He never wanted to see me again. And to be honest, I was pretty angry too, not because of his mental illness, but because I felt so helpless. I want to say after a week of the adjusted meds. He called apologizing. He told me how thankful he was that I had called. He was thankful that I didn't budge on him being committed. He was thankful that he had someone who knew him well enough to know that he wasn't manipulating me. He had been pushing me away, which is a sign, or being suicidal, and we had been fighting a lot because of it. You did the right thing, OP. You definitely have done the right thing for her well-being, no matter how angry she is now. She'll see it one day.